In today's video, we're going to be going over 15 clone fragrances that are so accurate they could almost pass for the original that they're trying to clone. So because we have so many scents to talk about, we're going to be moving through these pretty quick. I'm going to put links to every one that I talk about in the video description below. And also, I've done videos on a lot of these already, standalone, and just been featured before. So do some digging if you want kind of more of a deep dive on any of these, if they catch your attention, or just leave a comment down below and it'll get a discussion going and people can kind of help you out with the scent that you're looking for and kind of help you, I'll tell you which direction that one goes and so on if you are a little bit lost on it and you want some more help. But we're gonna go through these here. We're gonna start off with Fragrance World. This is Jack of Clubs. Now this one here doesn't really give you any hints, right? The name, the bottle, but it's a La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique clone. So Bleu Electrique simply was taking that OG La Nuit de l'Homme smell, bringing it back a little bit with a blue twist, the slightest bit. Modernized La Nuit de l'Homme, but with still that kind of old school richness, essentially is what it was. Now the thing is that La Nuit de l'Homme only lasted about a year, if even that, in terms of production, and then it was discontinued, and we were left to try to fight for bottles on discounters if we were lucky. Luckily, we do have a couple of clones. This is one of them, and this is probably about my favorite, although of the two that I've tried, they're both good. So take your pick, whichever one you like. But this one here is great to get you into that DNA without spending an arm and a leg. Next one's going to be a clone of a niche fragrance here from Parfums de Marly, in fact. It's a clone of Carlisle, okay? It's Barouge Perle d'Or. So I love Carlisle. It's one of my favorites from Parfums de Marly. It's very unique, unlike, you know, maybe Layton, Sedley, Percival. Those are a little bit more mainstream. Carlisle took it in more of a unique direction. So it basically was using a lot of patchouli, vanilla, kind of this balsamic smell, kind of warm, spicy, rich. Carlisle smells great. The problem is that it's one of the more expensive PDM scents as well. Usually on discounters, you're still looking at, I don't know, close to mid $200 range, and that's if you're lucky, right? Pretty expensive. Luckily, Barouge Perle d'Or is one that you could get for, I mean, it's well under $100 here. It's kind of an oddball size bottle. It's an 85 ml bottle here, so, you know, not the 125 like the PDM, not even a 100 ml bottle. However, it's still going to be cheaper no matter what way you cut it, and if you want a nice, accurate clone of Carlisle, this is going to be it. This next one is Armani Club de Nuit Untold. You've heard about this one before, I'm sure. It is a clone of Baccarat Rouge 540 by MFK. This woody, light, transparent smell essentially is what BR 540 is. It has saffron and just kind of a mixture of light, transparent woods is how I like to describe it. It's weird because, you know, this is not really how most people expect this to smell, at least kind of from what I've gathered based upon looking at reviews and stuff. Because this did get really popular at one point. That's why there are so many clones of it, and I think it threw a lot of people off. It's beast mode, and that's where people get confused, is they smell this and they go, this is so light, it's kind of unassuming. They don't expect it to be beast mode, however it is. Some might say it has a little bit of a medicinal smell to it. Some people, I think I've heard them describe it as smells a little bit like latex gloves. You know, there's different ways you can look at it, and I kind of can see where people are coming from with both of those comparisons. Ultimately, blind buying the real one is a risky move. Blind buying this clone is going to be safer, and when you take a look at what it would cost you to buy a decent sized sample of Baccarat Rouge 540 versus buying a full bottle of this clone, you would be shocked. Okay, so for a lot of people, the clone just makes sense just to try it out even. This next one is Armani Code Absolute. This is a Fragrance World here, and this is a clone of, no surprise here, Armani Code Absolute. It even has that same painted color there, kind of, I don't know, champagne color, flaked gold, like light gold, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Armani Code Absolute, lovely scent. Tonka bean vanilla, a little bit of a suede note in there as well. It's one of the best from the line. That and Code Profumo were two amazing scents. They went and tampered with them. You know, they discontinued those and kind of brought them back in some newer flakers with different bottles. But I feel like when they did that, they kind of stripped away all of the hype and all the popularity and just community around those scents, and it just doesn't feel the same anymore, right? Even though you can get Armani Code EDP, which smells a bit like Code Profumo with a little bit of a variance, and even though the Code Elixir smells a little bit like Code Absolute, you just don't see the cult following like it used to. It's kind of one of those things where it's the perfect example. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just leave it alone. I wish these designer and niche brands would just leave stuff alone sometimes, because they just end up doing more harm than good. But if you want to smell like that old school Code Absolute, Armani Code Absolute, or Absolute is a great one to get. Got a clone of a discontinued fragrance here. We have Milano Privé. This is by Pandora Scents, also known as Paris Corner. Okay, this is a clone of 1 million Privé. Yet another example of just stop touching stuff, right? If they would have left 1 million Privé, we would have been so happy, because that was one of the best from the 1 million lineup and one of the best for fall in general. It basically has this caramel, apple, cinnamon smell. And I'm not lying when I say it smells like the epitome of autumn. This is legitimately what this stuff smells like in a bottle. It is great. 1 million Privé, again, same thing that I'm talking about here. It was a great, great scent, so unique, and was just a big, big improvement in a warmly welcomed improvement in the 1 million lineup. Again, that one's gone. Luckily, you can get this for whatever it is, $25, $35 or so, and it gets you into that DNA for less. For a new clone up next from Rasasi, it's one that I absolutely love the smell of. It's Cobra, or House Cobra, I should say. It's a clone of LV Imagination, Louis Vuitton Imagination. Now, that one is very expensive on its own. You know, I think it's $330 for 100 milliliter retail, and then you can get the 200 ml for, I don't know, $450, $460 or something. Could be off a little bit. They might have raised the prices since I last purchased them close to a year ago, but that's kind of where I remembered it being at. It's a lot of money, right? And you can't get them anywhere else other than a Louis Vuitton store or LouisVuitton.com. I mean, other retailers don't even carry them. They have immense brand exclusivity. Luckily, you don't have to spend that money. You can get Cobra, which is gonna run you, I think, around, I don't know, $40, $45, $50, somewhere 40 to 50, we'll say that. And it gets you so close. It's got the tea, it has the citruses, the woods, it smells amazing, cooling, refreshing, masculine and sexy. It's a mega compliment puller. That's why Imagination got so popular at the end of the day. It's a long-lasting, fresh compliment puller, and so it took off, right? And so having the ability for really anybody to have that smell in their collection, to me, is pretty cool. Get Cobra if that's what you want. Next one only costs you about 20 bucks. It's Lattafa Assad, and this is gonna be that Dior Sauvage Elixir smell, which some people love, some people hate. Again, Sauvage Elixir, you're looking at 60 milliliters for $140, $150, 200 ml for, or I'm sorry, 100 ml for around $200, $220. And they did just release either a 150 ml or a 200 ml bottle as well. I saw that one on Joma's shop, which is just absolutely insane. So to buy a sample of Sauvage Elixir, at least a sizable one where you can actually get a full proper wearing, you're gonna be spending like as much as it would cost to buy Assad by the time it's all said and done. My advice, if you're trying to try Sauvage Elixir, just buy Lattafa Assad. You get full 3.3 ounces of fluid here that you can actually try, and it's gonna give you a great idea of what it smells like because it's very accurate. It's got cinnamon, licorice, sandalwood, and some other warm, spicy notes as well. So it's a warm, spicy, woody scent, very masculine, smells nothing like any other Sauvage out there. So people who don't like Sauvage, they might actually like this one. Let's keep it moving with Afnan Tarathi Brown. This is gonna be one of many YSL Tuxedo clones. There are so many, and it's the weirdest thing ever. You know, Creed Aventus, there's a ton of clones, makes sense. Really popular scent. Baccarat Rouge, makes sense, it got pretty popular. Layton, same thing, you know what I'm talking about. YSL Tuxedo had its little bit of a popularity run in the community mostly, but in my opinion, unless I'm missing something, it was nowhere near as popular as any of the other scents that I just listed off, yet it is cloned so much. So many clones of Tuxedo. I can't even list them all off, and there are so many that I probably don't even know about. It's insane. So this, again, is one of many. Not saying it's the best. I don't know if there is a best, right? Because they're all really good from what I've tried, and I've tried several, okay? Chances are if it's from one of the big clone brands, Fragrance World, Paris Corner, Lattafa, or whatever, you know, it's gonna be good. And this one from Afnan is a solid top tier clone of Tuxedo. A Tuxedo itself is basically a patchouli based scent with some spices. Let's keep it moving with Fragrance World Star Min Nebula. This is actually a clone of a discontinued Mugler scent, Pure Malt, okay? That one was amazing. If you haven't smelled it, just get this, of course, and you're going to get an idea. Man, smells like a malted beverage, really. A nice boozy, rich, sweet scent with a little bit of a freshness. Now, it's not a fresh scent, okay? It's still very sweet, but there's just a little bit of a fresh balance here to make it not too overboard. It smells amazing. It's a great performer also, which really helps. And again, it's just the fact that, well, pure malt is discontinued. You can't purchase it at all. You don't have the option to, but you can get this. And I believe this one's gonna run you somewhere around, I don't know, these days like $20 to $30. It's very affordable. A clone of another discontinued fragrance coming up next here is the one and only Moonlit Night by Fragrance World. And this is simply going to be a Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night clone. If I could go back and do it all over again, I would have purchased more backup bottles of Luminous Night because I absolutely love it, along with Royal Night too, and probably Mysterious Night. I would have bought backup bottles of all of them if I knew that they were going to go that obsolete that quick, because it happened quick. They were available, well, at least Royal Night and Mysterious Night were available for the longest time. Okay, Luminous Night had the shortest run because it was the newest exclusive edition. But man, I just felt like it wasn't a big hurry, and then just out of nowhere, out of stock, and they really haven't come back at all since then, except for very, very limited amounts, which just are impossible to pick up on. So you can get this clone here, which gets you into that DNA sweet from this Dates Accord. It gives it this kind of sugary gourmand smell mixed with that OG Dolce & Gabbana The One DNA buried in the base. Absolutely beautiful. I wish that they wouldn't have taken those away, but they did, but there are clones, so it doesn't matter. All right, this next one is Secret by Lattafa. It's an eau de parfum. This is a clone of, Aqua di Gio Profumo / Aqua di Gio Parfum. So if you don't want to spend the money on parfum, you can get this. And again, parfum is basically Profumo. This is basically Profumo. We're just talking a difference of bottles and names here at this point, but man, it really gets close. It even has that same grassy green opening. It's got that incense and patchouli combination later on in the mid and dry down. Everything about this is spot on Aqua di Gio and Profumo, Parfum that is. And man, it's nice to have. It's gonna be, I don't know, $20 to $30 for this as well, I believe. Lattafa, they put out great clones. This is also one of them as well. Kind of starting to work our way through towards the end with one of the best gourmand scents you can buy right now. It's Fragrance World Liquid Brun. This stuff is amazing. It has this toasted chestnut accord with this sweet vanilla tonka bean mixture. Smells absolutely mouth-watering good. I mean, I see why Parfums de Marly Altair got so popular, because I mean this type of smell is truly addicting. It really, really is, and it is perfect for right now. December, it's cold, the holidays are in the air and all of that stuff, right? This is the time to be wearing something sweet and heavy and just comforting like this. Now, the Parfums de Marly's going to be in the low to mid $200 range most places. This is going to be, I think, around 40. Okay, so not bad at all, really, for what you get. It's French Avenue, if I didn't say that, which is basically Fragrance World. So you know you're getting a great quality, accurate clone. Even the color looks somewhat similar to Altair. It might be a little bit darker. You can actually see Altair right here. But yeah, very, very accurate at a fraction of the cost. This next one is going to be Alharmain Detour Noir. Two PDM clones back to back. This one's a clone of Layton. Now this is going to be $20. Layton is going to be around the same price, low to mid $200 range. Okay, and this one has that menthol smell. It's got the apple, got the vanilla, got everything that Layton has mixed into one, and it's $20. It's cheapy price, and it is so good. You look at the price, you look at everything about it, and you might think it's not going to be very good, right? We're just conditioned to think that way when we look at something that is $200 that we perceive as being the best of the best. Then we look at something that's $20 and we think that it's going to be like not very good, right? Not at all the case. This is so impressively good. High quality, great performing, and accurate. For around $20, you cannot beat this. If you want a clone of Layton, this is by far the most popular pick for a great reason. Cherry Cola by Paris Corner is going to be a Mancera Tonka Cola clone. Now, Tonka Cola is not horribly priced, although it is still more expensive than this. If you're really wanting to save some money, you can go for this. It's going to get you into that same ballpark, that same smell, but simply for less. I mean, even if you only save, let's say, $40, right? I'm trying to think of where they usually are priced at. Tonka Cola, you might be saving, I don't even know what this one's priced at, okay? But let's just say you save $40 or $50. Well, that's still money saved. You could take that extra $40 or $50 and buy potentially 2 more clones with that amount, or save it, or, you know, give it away, or do anything, right? Put it towards presents or something, or bills or anything. So there are still savings to be had. I think we get lost in the fact where people say, why don't you just buy the Mancera? It's not that much more expensive. Well, that's not your call to make. That's the person purchasing call to make. And if they want to save that money, then they have the ability to, which I think is pretty cool. And especially when you look at this, it's great quality, great performance, and very accurate. For some people, it just makes sense to go this direction. And last up for this video, we have Gary's Den. This is by FOMO. Now, this is obviously a clone of Dior Homme Parfum Vintage. And by that, I basically mean not 2025. So it's basically release date up until like basically 2024, okay? Is what this is a clone of. It's the Dior Homme Parfum with the leather, the rose, the oud, and of course the iris. It smells amazing, and it is impressive how good this is, and it's rich, it's full-bodied. Some clones lack in that. Not really any of the ones today. These are all, you know, for the most part, pretty well, you know, well constructed in terms of having that depth, but especially something like this. To nail this DNA, in my opinion, would be challenging because it is so good and just an interesting one, but they did it here with this. It's an extrait concentration, which is nice. This stuff is mega strong, and if you don't have Dior Homme Parfum and you don't want to spend the money on it, then this one for around $40 to $45, it's going to get you into that smell. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 15 clone fragrances that are so accurate, they could easily pass for the original. Links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.